Want to give a little update of what's going on. Things change real quick around these parts. This is the supply plenum. Nothing's bolted down. It's just set in place to test for fitment. I still haven't even cut the hole in the supply duct. This here, cold air plenum, comes down. In between here is where the furnace filter is going to go. I've got my support up here so that I can slide, make sure everything's out of the way, slide my cold air duct in, move it around, get it in place, then get it fastened in place. Then this can be positioned underneath, marked out, cut the hole, then we got to continue on down the line. The cold air return is probably the most important, or one of the most important parts of making this system work, because everything that gets pushed down this trunk line has to get sucked in. I've got some up in the hallway, and there's going to be one down here in the basement. This basement is half the living space, or will be half the living space of this house. Half the heat is coming down here. Half the heat's going up there. Half the cold air is coming from here, half's coming from upstairs. I think you get that. You can never have too much cold air return. As far as supply lines, you're better off erring on the side of too many, because you can damp them down. What you want to avoid is hitting your limit switches or pushing too much air through too few holes and create whistling sounds. That's very common in production homes. Is the HVAC system is just so dang noisy. You want it distributed evenly throughout the house. You want it sucked in evenly throughout the house. Enough rambling. I'm gonna move this thing back out of the way and get my 30-inch. I'm gonna have two 30s, and then it necks down to a 24 down that end for the cold air return.
I just want to jump in here real quick. For some reason, that guy that was installing this always forgets to talk about the combustible air. He keeps talking about the supply and the return. Now those white PVC pipes that you see in the video, you'll see that on 94, 96, 90, I believe it goes down to 90% efficient furnaces. What you might be used to seeing in your production home is an 80% efficient furnace. They work somewhat the same, except on 96% efficient furnaces, it sucks the air in and it blows the air out through PVC horizontally outside the house. There are other options. You can go up. I have a 80,000 BTU, 80%-ish, might even be down to like 76% efficient furnace in this workshop. It works amazing. These furnaces are very, very basic. A lot of people get intimidated by them. You shouldn't be. If you have a 80% efficient furnace, you're supposed to have combustible air supply to the area where your furnace and your gas burning water heater is. There's supposed to be a high and a low. So you should have two 6-inch ducts that go outside your house and come in to your HVAC room, your utility room. One will be up high and one will be down at the floor to supply air for your furnace to burn. These days, most people are putting in high efficiency furnaces like the one you see here in the video. This one happens to be made by Mr. Cool. There's no affiliation. I'll probably go over the Mr. Cool and the internal functions, like an up close and personal, part by part, just so you can get familiar with an 80% efficient furnace and a 96% efficient furnace. They're a little bit different. There's a lot of water involved with 96% efficient furnaces. It's very strange. I actually had to install a pump, an HVAC pump. And I know a lot of you are concerned and confused that the Handyman's installing water pump in the furnace, and it's not for a humidifier. I'll go over step by step later in the video series on all these components, so you won't be confused. And I will talk more about this specific furnace, the Mr. Cool. Is it worth it? It was only $2,100. How is that possible? These things are so simple and so easy to work on. There's not much to go wrong.
So this is how the ductwork comes in halves. This is one of the biggest sections that I've installed. The first one over there was another 30. They're a bit awkward and big, but I like working on this edge here. It just seems to go easier that way, up on instead of sawhorses. But be careful, you don't want to cut yourself. I'm sure there's probably some people wondering how I'm doing this without wearing gloves. I do have a pair of gloves around here somewhere when it's needed. I got a few tiny little nicks. You can see that. There's a tiny little nick there and there. And that's it. Pretty decent shaped hands, no cuts. Just takes a little hand-eye coordination and maybe a little bit tougher skin than, you know, you soft-handed ladies that are out there sitting at the keyboard.
What is your PPE, Handyman? You're gonna cut your arm off!
Shut up. Whoa, don't do that, Kenny. Oh, yeah. You don't want to crease it. All right, is there anything up there? I think we're in the clear. 1, 2, 3, and up. Yeah. Piece of cake. Okay, everybody, I haven't really discussed this. I've done it all over the house, but this is how I'm cutting the holes for the floor registers. I can see up through the joists in the floor where this plaster is. And if my calculations, and I'm reading my tape measure, are correct, it's 29 inches to the center of the bay between the two floor joists. 29 inches. Right. Leave enough room for the flange of your register, and that puts it almost centered. There's no way to get it centered on this. I probably have a joist, real close to center. I can cheat it a hair. What I'm going to do is drill a hole at 29 inches right in there, and then go downstairs and check it and measure how close I can scoot this over to the joist just to try to get it centered on the window. There's no way to get it completely centered on the window. Hello. There's the drill bit. Looks like it's centered. I gotta get my head up there and measure. But it looks like we're clear to cut. Okay, the blades I've been using, I believe they're a Rockwell 8950 wood fast cut. This one has several of these cuts through oak, through pine. I've been using this a lot. This has a lot of cuts on it. I recommend this. $17 for one, $35 for three. It's been cutting through this oak like butter. Night and day difference than that Rockwell, whatever I was using earlier. Like butter.
So that was a quick short video for a Wednesday. I'm not sure when the next video will come out. I'm going to try to sneak it in before Christmas, but it may not happen. So look out for that next video. It'll go over more of the cold air returns. You can actually see how they're all cut in and how the suck works. It sucks and blows. So everything that comes out of your floor vents has to be sucked in through your cold air return. It doesn't suck it in from outside. It's like a closed loop system. So whatever is getting pumped out, it's getting sucked back in your cold air return. And they have to be balanced and equal. As I said in this video, it's better to err around the size of more possible air intake than outtake. You don't want your furnace to overheat by not being able to circulate enough air through it to keep it from overheating and hitting your limit switches. Go get yourself a Come and Take It caulk gun t-shirt or a hat. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.